The meadow bloomed with radiant flowers, and Luma drifted down, wings shimmering like glass. She whispered, "At last, nectar awaits." But her joy snapped into fear as the sweetness turned bitter, burning like fire in her veins. The blossoms pulsed with hidden poison, crafted by unseen hands. Shadows rippled through petals, carrying death in silence. Small beetles twitched lifeless on leaves, their last breaths stolen by unseen venom. Luma shivered, wings trembling, as the meadow betrayed her trust. The air thickened with dread, and silence struck like a predator's claw. Her tiny heart raced. "This is no gift," she cried. "It's a trap." And in that single moment, the paradise of flowers became a battlefield. Every drop of nectar, a poisoned blade. Survival would demand more than fragile wings. It would demand a will fiercer than the storm brewing beyond the horizon. Luma darted away from the tainted blossom, her wings slicing through thickening air. The meadow, once alive with buzzing voices, now echoed with silence. Tiny bodies of ants and flies lay curled along stems, lifeless evidence of an unseen war. The air smelled of sharp chemicals, sour and unnatural. "Why does sweetness carry such pain?" Luma whispered, her voice trembling as she searched for an untouched bloom. Shadows fell across the flowers, deepening unease. Each beat of her wings grew heavier, weighed down by dread. A sparrow swept overhead, hungry eyes scanning. Luma's heart raced as she dove into cover, the predator's presence a cruel reminder that danger did not wait. Life in the meadow no longer promised safety, it demanded sacrifice. The blossoms, once glowing with life, now revealed secrets of decay. Pollen clumped like dust, brittle and pale. Luma hovered above a patch where several bees lay still, legs curled in unnatural silence. "This cannot be nature," she whispered, antennae trembling as she drifted lower. A bitter stench rose from petals, sharper than smoke, invading every breath. Her wings twitched as if refusing to linger. She felt the meadow's betrayal in every poisoned hue, beauty hiding violence beneath. The stillness was not peace, but the aftermath of battle, unseen and merciless. With each flutter, fear gnawed deeper, and trust dissolved like ash in her veins. A sudden rustle snapped through the meadow. Luma shot upward, wings flaring. A mantis leapt from behind a stalk, its green body gleaming like a blade. Its forelegs struck air, missing her by inches. She spun wildly, breath quick and frantic. "Predators wait even in poisoned gardens," she thought, heart pounding. The mantis clung to a stem, eyes burning with hunger, head tilting with calculated stillness. She darted left, then right, wings catching harsh light. The meadow narrowed into a trap, beauty masking violence from every direction. Each moment hung between life and death, a fragile thread stretched thin. Luma soared higher, wings trembling with exhaustion. Below her, the meadow shimmered with deceptive color, blossoms radiant yet deadly. She saw lifeless forms scattered across petals, the meadow's silent casualties. The storm clouds thickened, swallowing sunlight into shadow. "This paradise is no haven," she whispered, her voice faint. The air trembled with unease, as if the earth itself recoiled. A soft drizzle began to fall, raindrops striking blossoms, washing traces of poison into soil. Each droplet carried a darker future, unseen but inevitable. Luma hovered, fragile against the growing storm, her wings a flicker of defiance in a world built to break her. Luma drifted toward a cluster of pale blossoms, her wings sluggish after the storm's drizzle. She whispered, "I must find life where death has not touched." The air still carried a faint chemical bite, yet she pressed on. Each flower shimmered with deceptive color, petals bright but hiding danger. Her fragile body trembled with exhaustion, but her will refused to fade. She stretched her wings wide, hoping the warmth of faint sunlight might ease her pain. Every sound was muted, silence pressing down like a weight. A sudden breeze rattled the stems, and she steadied herself. "I cannot give in," she murmured. Not while there may still be hope. The meadow was no longer her sanctuary, but within her fragile flight lived a defiance stronger than poison. From the shadows, Aiden appeared, his gray wings dulled yet steady. "Luma, you should not be alone," he said, his voice firm though tired. She turned, relief softening her trembling. His presence brought comfort, a reminder that survival was not hers alone to carry. The meadow around them seemed quieter, as though listening to their fragile bond. "The flowers betray us," Luma whispered. Aiden lowered his wings slowly, gazing at withered blooms. "We endure, even when the earth turns against us." His resolve carried strength, though sorrow weighed his tone. Together they hovered, two fragile lives bound by trust in a field soaked with danger. Their wings beat in rhythm, fragile light against the gathering storm. A faint buzz broke the stillness, and Clara appeared, her tiny golden body quivering as she hovered unsteadily. She landed on a wilted blossom, legs shaking. Luma whispered, "She is too young, too fragile." Clara's large eyes flicked nervously, innocence gleaming in every glance. "Is it safe?" Clara asked, her tone trembling with need. Aiden's gaze hardened, voice low. "No flower here is safe." The meadow seemed colder with her presence, as if danger grew sharper when innocence entered its path. Luma edged closer, wings shielding the young bee. "Stay with us," she said. "You are not alone." Clara's fragile buzz was a plea for survival, echoing the fear written across every poisoned petal. For a fleeting moment, harmony returned. Luma, Aiden, and Clara hovered near each other, their fragile wings weaving a quiet rhythm. The meadow's silence gave way to a soft hum, delicate yet defiant. "Together we are stronger," Luma said, her voice filled with fragile hope. Clara leaned against her, seeking comfort in the safety of wings larger than her own. Aiden's eyes scanned the field, but his presence held firm. For the first time since poison touched their world, warmth stirred within them. The colors of blossoms seemed gentler, shadows softer. Yet even in that fragile moment, the meadow trembled with unseen threat, reminding them that peace was only borrowed time. Suddenly, a dark shadow spread across the meadow. The hum stilled as silence swallowed their fragile bond. A drone of machines echoed, harsh and metallic. Luma's wings stiffened, Clara shivered, and Aiden's eyes hardened with grim recognition. Overhead, a faint mist began to descend, its acrid scent undeniable. "They return," Aiden said, voice heavy. Clara whimpered, "What is happening?" Luma's heart pounded, her gaze fixed on the falling haze. "It is poison," she said. "They rain death upon us." The blossoms swayed under the coming spray, droplets glistening unnaturally. Their fragile moment shattered, replaced by the weight of survival. The meadow was no longer a home. It was a battlefield of life against the relentless hand of destruction. Clara wavered above a blossom, her tiny wings weak. She dipped her tongue into nectar, desperate for strength, but within seconds her body quivered. She gasped, "It burns." Luma darted to her side, horror flashing in her eyes. Aiden steadied himself near them, wings beating with urgency. "Do not drink," he warned, voice heavy. Clara trembled, her golden body curling as poison clawed its way inside. Luma hovered close, wings brushing her gently. "Stay with me, you are stronger than this," she whispered. The meadow's silence deepened, broken only by Clara's faint hum, fragile against the weight of toxins. Every petal gleamed with false beauty, every droplet a trap waiting to claim another life. As Clara faltered, Celine appeared, her wings edged in brilliant orange, striking against the dim meadow. She landed on a nearby bloom, eyes narrowing at Luma. "This blossom is mine," Celine said sharply. Luma flared her wings, fragile but unyielding. "We cannot fight when poison surrounds us," she answered. Celine hissed, wings lifting high. "Only the strong deserve to endure." Aiden moved closer, his gaze cold. "Strength is nothing if it consumes us all." The meadow seemed to tighten, air pressing heavy with rivalry. Clara whimpered softly, her small voice drowned by conflict. Petals shook under the tension, a fragile piece shattered by rivalry's edge. The meadow grew unnervingly quiet, its vibrant hum silenced. Bees no longer buzzed, flies no longer darted, even the sparrows circled cautiously above. Luma hovered low, her wings twitching with unease. "Where is everyone?" she whispered. Clara's small voice cracked. "They are gone." Aiden lowered his gaze to the ground, where lifeless bodies dotted the soil. Scylla's eyes flicked with bitterness. "This silence is what awaits us all." Shadows stretched longer, painting the field with a sorrowful weight. The meadow no longer felt alive but hollow, its emptiness pressing into every fragile heartbeat. Survival now felt less like hope, and more like defiance against inevitable ruin. A dark rumble split the silence, and heavy clouds rolled in, swelling with storm. Lightning streaked faintly in the distance, its glow reflecting in Luma's eyes. "The storm returns," Aiden said grimly. The first drops fell, fat and cold, striking blossoms with harsh rhythm. Clara stumbled, wings faltering as water weighed her down. Luma darted to her side, wings shielding her. Celine flared defiantly, shouting, "Only the skies test the strong." Thunder cracked, rattling the meadow, bending stalks low. Rain mingled with traces of poison, washing toxins deeper into soil. The field became a crucible, every heartbeat measured against the storm's merciless will. Rain poured in torrents, soaking blossoms and drowning nectar. Luma's wings beat furiously, her body aching as she searched the meadow. "There must be untouched flowers," she cried. Aiden followed, gray wings heavy but steady, his eyes sharp. Clara clung to his side, too weak to fly alone. Celine hovered behind, gaze sharp and calculating. "We will not all find salvation," she warned coldly. The meadow blurred into shadowed streaks of rain, each petal trembling under the downpour. Luma's heart surged with desperation. She whispered, "I will not stop, not while a single chance remains." In the storm's fury, hope itself became the rarest bloom. Rain thinned into mist, and the meadow reeked of chemicals, sharp and bitter. Luma hovered low, wings quivering. She whispered, "It is not only nectar." Aiden lowered himself, brushing soil with his leg. His face darkened. "It seeps into earth, air, everything." Clara coughed weakly, her fragile wings clinging damp to her sides. "Even the rain burns," she cried softly. Luma's heart clenched, the truth tearing deeper than poison itself. The meadow was not just touched, but consumed, every breath and drop steeped in death. Celine's eyes flicked across the soil, her wings trembling despite her hardened stance. For the first time, silence did not feel empty, but condemned. The danger was not a predator but the world itself. Celine's sharp voice broke through the quiet. "You think I am cruel," she hissed, wings quaking. Her gaze fell to the earth where tiny lifeless caterpillars curled. "But my brood is gone. Every one of them." The storm clouds parted faintly, a pale light casting sorrow across her eyes. Luma softened, wings folding close. "You fight because you fear loss." Celine's body shook, her defiance cracking. "There is nothing left to protect," she whispered. Clara whimpered, eyes wide with grief. Aiden shifted uneasily, his silence heavier than words. For the first time, Celine's strength seemed brittle, her fire revealed as grief's disguise. The meadow bore not rivals, but survivors of the same tragedy. The meadow shuddered with a new silence. A hawk circled above, its wings cutting through gray clouds. Yet even it moved slower, its body trembling faintly mid-flight. Luma's gaze followed the predator, her heart struck with shock. Aiden whispered, "Even they grow weak." The hawk swooped, clutching a poisoned sparrow, only to falter, nearly falling from the sky. Clara whimpered softly, hiding beneath Luma's wing. Celine's voice cracked. "The poison climbs higher, it spares no hunter." The revelation spread through them like fire. The meadow's sickness was no wound. It was a chain unraveling, binding every creature in its fall. Strength meant nothing when poison touched all. The meadow whispered its truth through silence, rain, and rot. Aiden's voice broke low, steady as stone. This is no battle of predator and prey. The enemy is unseen, and it spares none. Luma's wings twitched, her eyes reflecting the glint of poison droplets. Clara leaned close, whispering, "If all falls, do we fall too?" Selena's wings sagged, her fire dimming into weary surrender. "This land itself has betrayed us," she muttered. For the first time their rivalries dissolved, and what stood between them was not survival against each other, but survival against the meadow itself. The blossoms they once trusted now carried death more merciless than any claw. Clara trembled, her buzz faint, body curling with weakness. Luma pressed close, whispering, "Hold on, little one." The meadow's truth pressed like a weight. Not only nectar but soil, rain, and air bore poison. Selene watched, her bitterness stripped away, replaced with sorrow. Aiden's voice cut firm through grief. "We cannot undo what's been done, but we endure while breath remains." Clara's fragile hum broke, her wings faltering against Luma's. The silence deepened, more terrible than thunder. This was no ordinary danger, no rival, no predator's hunt. This was annihilation, dressed in the beauty of flowers, waiting at every petal's edge. The hum of machines filled the meadow, drowning out the soft rhythm of wings. A gray mist drifted from the sky, spraying across blossoms like a shroud. Luma gasped, "They return again, but stronger." Clara clung weakly to her, trembling with fear. Aiden's wings beat fiercely, his tone sharp. "We must rise above it, or perish below." Selene snarled, wings trembling with fury. "They poison without mercy." The mist grew thicker, droplets clinging to petals like acid rain. Each breath burned their lungs, heavy and sharp. Luma's heart thundered. "We cannot hide," she whispered. The meadow had become a battlefield, and the poison itself was the enemy's weapon. The mist fell heavier, coating wings and blossoms alike. Clara coughed, her tiny voice breaking. "It hurts." Luma hovered close, shielding her with trembling wings. Aiden roared in defiance, "Stay behind me." He dove upward, slicing through thick haze, his gray wings beating with raw power. Selene followed, her orange wings glinting defiantly against dim skies. Luma strained, fighting to carry Clara higher, every beat a battle. Poison clung to them like chains, dragging with invisible weight. Their fragile unity was tested against the storm of toxins. The meadow below blurred into shadow, every flower gleaming with venom. The air itself was a trap. The storm raged around them, winds tearing through branches. Luma strained to keep Clara aloft, her wings trembling under weight of rain and mist. Aiden soared beside her, voice sharp. "Hold fast." Lightning split the sky, blinding light scattering shadows across the meadow. Selene cried out, her orange wings shaking as thunder cracked above. Clara whimpered, "I cannot hold." Luma whispered back, "I will carry you." The storm howled louder, a furious symphony of survival. Their wings cut through chaos, fragile silhouettes fighting against forces meant to break them. In every beat lay defiance, in every breath, the fire of refusal. A sudden gust split them apart. Clara slipped from Luma's grasp, tumbling downward. "No!" Luma cried, diving after her. Aiden veered sharply, his wings striking mist. "I'll catch her!" His voice thundered with determination. He surged forward, gray wings slicing through poisoned rain. Clara fell helplessly, her golden body fragile against dark clouds. Selene froze, torn between retreat and rescue. Aiden caught Clara, cradling her gently against his chest. His body shook, the poison burning his wings. "Go!" he roared, eyes fierce. Luma's heart cracked as she hovered above, powerless. Aiden's sacrifice burned bright against Storm's shadow. A predator's cry pierced the storm, sharp and merciless. From the shadows, a sparrow dove, eyes fixed on Clara and Aiden. Luma's body surged with desperate strength. "No!" she cried, wings flaring with defiance. Celine darted beside her, her rivalry forgotten, her orange wings blazing in fury. Aiden clutched Clara tighter, his wings burning with poison's weight. The sparrow struck, feathers slicing the air, hunger gleaming in its gaze. Luma hurled herself forward, fragile body colliding with force greater than her own. The sky became a blur of wings, rain, and rage. The climax of survival roared with thunder, every heartbeat a battle against the inevitable. The storm broke, leaving only silence heavy as stone. Rain-soaked blossoms sagged beneath the weight of poison, their colors muted into gray. Luma hovered weakly, her wings trembling with exhaustion. She whispered, "It is over, yet nothing is the same." Clara lay nestled close, her small body faint but alive. Celine hovered nearby, her once bright wings dulled by rain, eyes heavy with sorrow. The meadow stretched endless, but its beauty had soured into graveyard quiet. The hum of life was gone, replaced by emptiness that swallowed every breath. Aiden's absence struck deeper than thunder, his sacrifice etched into the silence. Celine drifted downward, her orange wings folding close. She landed among wilted blossoms, her body still. "The fight was never ours to win," she said quietly. Luma lowered her gaze, sorrow shimmering in her fragile eyes. Clara stirred faintly, whispering, "Why is the world so cruel?" The meadow's silence deepened, its poisoned petals bowing like mourners. Celine's form crumpled gently, her strength spent, her fire fading into dust. Luma trembled, her heart fracturing as another companion was taken. Clara pressed close to her side, clinging desperately. The meadow demanded its toll, and it took mercilessly. Clara stirred weakly, her wings twitching, body curling as if in surrender. "I cannot," she whispered faintly. Luma pressed close, her wings brushing the young bee. "Stay, little one, stay with me." The meadow seemed to hush, the stillness weighing heavier. Poison's shadow lingered in every drop, every breath. Clara's hum faltered, but faintly returned, soft as a heartbeat. Luma's fragile hope sparked again, a flame trembling against endless night. She whispered fiercely, "You will not fall, not while I fight for you." The meadow was no home, but within her small defiance lived survival's final song. Beyond the poisoned meadow, faint colors shimmered. A small patch of untouched blossoms stood hidden, their petals glowing faintly with life. Luma's breath caught. "There is still hope," she urged Clara gently, her wings guiding the weakened bee forward. The air lightened faintly, carrying the scent of untainted nectar. Celine's absence hung behind them, heavy as stone, yet her sacrifice pushed them onward. Clara trembled but followed, her tiny body clinging to survival. Luma's wings beat stronger, drawn to life's last promise. The meadow had betrayed them, but within shadow, one light remained. Luma landed gently upon the hidden blossoms, her body trembling with relief. Clara leaned against her, tasting nectar faintly, her strength flickering back. Luma whispered, "Life still endures even in shadow." The petals glowed with pure color, a fragile defiance against poisoned earth. The storm had broken, yet the meadow's scars would never heal. They were survivors, not victors, bound by loss and fragile hope. Every beat of Luma's wings echoed the fallen, every drop of nectar tasted like memory. Yet in that single moment, survival bloomed. Against ruin, they endured. Against death, they lived. The dawn settled quiet, its light fragile, as if afraid to touch the poisoned meadow. Luma hovered above the last untouched blossom, her wings shimmering faintly against gray air. Clara leaned beside her, fragile but alive, sipping nectar in slow gulps. Luma whispered, "This one bloom carries all that remains." The silence pressed deeper, carrying ghosts of every fallen creature. Their absence lingered heavier than storm clouds, woven into soil, air, and petals alike. Yet life, however faint, still flickered here. Luma's wings spread wide, her fragile form defying the weight of extinction. Against the meadow's betrayal, a spark remained. Clara stirred gently, her small wings quivering as she lifted herself from the blossom. "I feel stronger," she whispered, her voice fragile but steady. Luma's eyes brightened, her heart pulsing with relief. "Then life endures," she said softly. Around them, the meadow remained lifeless, petals dull and broken. Yet here, in this small patch, colors glowed with defiant warmth. The storm had taken many, but survival whispered through their fragile forms. Clara pressed against Luma's side, wings steadying. They were not victors, but survivors, carrying hope carved from grief. Together they hovered, small lights against endless gray. The meadow's silence grew haunting. Every missing hum echoed louder, every absent shadow heavier. Luma hovered, her gaze stretching across endless poisoned flowers. She whispered, "This place remembers the lost." Clara leaned close, her voice trembling. "It feels empty." The world around them was scarred, its beauty hollowed by toxins. Yet the untouched blossom carried a defiant brightness, like memory refusing to fade. Luma's wings beat slowly, her body weary but unbroken. She did not carry victory, but she carried witness. And in her fragile defiance, silence transformed from grief into echo, a reminder that life, however fragile, had not surrendered. A breeze swept across the meadow, carrying whispers of wings no longer beating. Luma steadied herself, wings trembling. "We remain, even when all else is gone." Clara pressed close, her hum soft yet steady. The meadow shimmered faintly in the dawn's glow, but its silence was unbroken. Petals bent under droplets, heavy with memory. Luma rose higher, her silhouette small against the horizon, wings reflecting pale gold. Each wing beat carried not just survival but remembrance. Every motion a promise that the fallen were not forgotten. Fragile as she was, she carried the weight of a world that had lost its song. The meadow stilled, every sound swallowed by silence. Luma hovered at the heart of the last pure blossom, wings trembling like fragile glass. Clara rested close, eyes half closed, her hum faint but alive. Luma whispered, "We are all that remain, yet we endure." Her wings spread wide, catching the dawn light, shimmering against gray horizon. Behind her, the meadow stretched lifeless, shadows marking where life once thrived. Yet the single bloom glowed, an echo of what was lost and what still fought to survive. The final silence was heavy, but within it, one fragile heartbeat continued to defy.